One of the things that you mentioned was the fact that some people do get a windfall,
Mhm.
right? Sometimes people get inheritances, sometimes people win lotteries. And as strange as that sounds, I've had two clients that have won lotteries. Um, so at the end of the day, if you are getting an inheritance, for example, what would be the first steps for you to manage that?
The first step for me would be to get advice. And that, by first, I mean the first step you take. That's before you deposit the check. That's before you even, depending on whether the inheritor is also the executor of the estate, for example. So there's different ways you can manage the estate. There's certain tax planning opportunities you have with the deceased, with other beneficiaries, with yourself that you might want to take advantage of. But the first step would for sure to be to get advice, because there's going to be tax implications, there's going to be legal implications. Um, and when we talk about a windfall or an inheritance, there's different, I mean, we've seen people squander them a lot of times. So depending on the size and relative to, your own financial position and whether or not it's expected or not, those could have very different impacts. The more unexpected it is, the more sudden it is, the larger it is, uh, it's treated more like a windfall, like a lottery winning, versus you're expecting something from your grandmother that's going to come. Um, in the first category, when it's a windfall, that's where mistakes get made a lot of times. I mean, we all know the stats with lottery winners and even professional athletes that retire and go bankrupt within a few years. Um, People don't have that training uh, to deal with this level of newfound wealth, and they don't have the experience. And that's where the experiences of advisors like yourself come in. The other issue is when people receive an inheritance, it's usually because a loved one has passed away. So they're also in a state of grief. And we know that when people are grieving, they're not thinking straight the way they normally would. So they're more prone to make mistakes. They might uh, make emotional decisions that may not serve them in the long run. So sometimes people need a cooling off period. And again, that's where an advisor could come in and help them out with those things.